The aim of our study is to make the international scientific community more aware of this, that this is really a problem. And if this were to spread, then HIV is nothing. What you see now is that the people who are getting all kinds of services, we're trying to keep them alive, so that they not get infected with HIV or HCV, hepatitis C, but they are dying from, the terrible consequences of this drug. And it has been very hard to bring that to the attention of the international organizations. You hear a lot that people think that it is desomorphine, but there's definitely some doubt whether it is desomorphine. People cook this stuff themselves. It happens in people's kitchens. I'll give you a short rundown of the process. People start out with a medication that contains codeine. The first step is that these pills are being put in gasoline to extract the codeine. Then subsequently the gasoline is being mixed with water with vinegar, so an acidic environment, and the codeine goes into the acidic water. Yeah? But of course, there might still be traces of gasoline in there. But then subsequently people start mixing it with whatever is available, strong acid and phosphor simply from matches. Whether it's desomorphine or not, that's in fact not the main thing. The most important thing is the dirty production process. That means that when people are done cooking this drug, they end up with a liquid, not with a powder, for example, and they immediately inject that liquid without, for example, lots of filtering and also not testing the acidity. And we actually think that the acidity is the main cause for all the morbidity and the terrible harms that we see. The fluids or the liquids that people are injecting are so corrosive that it gives really significant local damage, but it also results in systemic damage. Your organs are getting affected. You see people getting big eschars, pieces of skin that fall off in places where they've never injected. Yeah? So that means there's systemic damage. And that also means that, it results in neurological damage. These studies have simply not been done. We don't know exactly what the morbidity and the mortality is. Actually, still a gray area which needs to be researched much more. The main goal of the study is to set an agenda for how we can maybe come to harm reduction measures. The simplest thing maybe is give people, for example, litmus test papers, that test the pH of a solution. That's a good start. And if it doesn't necessarily mean that that's a solution, but it's also, for example, a tool for outreach, to make contact with people. There were reports of, I think, some 52 cities in Ukraine and Russia. In Russia, there might be at least 100,000, people injecting this stuff. And in Ukraine, at least some 20,000 people injecting this stuff. We have case reports from Kazakhstan, and we heard in Georgia that people who are they did a study among people in methadone programs. At this point, it is the most popular drug among this group. In Russia, we, for example, see that this drug comes up when in the same region where heroin is harder to get. In Ukraine, people always continued cooking, the chorny. They cooked up the opium poppies. But very recently, they've also changed the legislation on the opium poppies, making them harder available. One of the explanations may also well be that it's much less of a risk with respect to policing. Because you go to a pharmacy and you go home. You don't go to a drug market that might be policed. We also see the drug in regions where there is still heroin available, but it's about 5 times as cheap as heroin. So we see that, users who are a little bit more wealthier will choose for heroin, but especially the poorest drug users will choose to take this drug. Or it's not a matter of choice anymore, because I often say heroin is for many people a drug of choice, but Krokodil is a drug of need. It's simply people, they are addicted, and if heroin is not available, and in a situation where there's no substitution treatment, they get into doing this. There's no alternative for them. And that's, I think, part of the problem, especially in a country like Russia, where some 1.4% of the population uses opiates. That's pretty high compared to the Western Europe, where it's less than 0.5%. So in that situation, not providing substitution treatment is basically, driving people to this kind of concoctions. People are also injecting tianeptide, Coaxil, which is an antidepressant. They are injecting eye drops that give sort of a hallucinatory effect. People will inject whatever there is if they are in need. The paper on Krokodil injecting is being published right now in the International Journal of Drug Policy. Interestingly, it has been awarded the editor's choice. That means that in a few weeks it will also be available, online for free. Ask anybody who is interested to download it and read the details.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.